Oh boy.
Elizabeth.
I'm so bad at this. You know, if you would just do it like usual, then it would be fine. It all would be fine.
You're holding your hand. You're holding your hand in all the wrong spots.
What do you mean?
Your hand's all crooked and wonky.
Have you read the book, The Wonky Donkey?
Nope.
You got it. You got it.
Hi, Vinny.
You did this. You did this wrong.
Bye, Vinny.
Bye, Vincent.
Okay, you go shoot rifles. Have fun. We're gonna talk to people who aren't really in front of us.
Just pretend people's.
Yes.
You have to read the Winky Wonky Donkey. I think it's just
The
called
Winky Wonky Donkey. That sounds dirty.
I think it's actually just called the Wonky Donkey, but oh my gosh, it's this adorable kids book, and it got popular because this grandma was trying to read it to her grandkid, and she was dying laughing. I mean, it's just funny. The Stinky Winky. It just gets longer and longer. It's hilarious. You gotta look it up. Wonky Donkey. Just look it up the YouTube video. You'll die. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Good morning.
Is it?
I think it's amazing outside.
It is amazing outside. It is super nice outside, and it's going to get super nicer all day today.
I'll be inside.
Me too.
Like most
All
of you
day.
fine people probably too.
Yes.
Yep. So what do you, take a deep breath. Good morning, Gordon. Here it goes. Vinny's not here to rub your earlobes.
I know. It's a little disappointing.
I'm going to stand back so I don't get whacked.
Listen.
Come the knife.
You. Right there. You.
Maybe not. You can't just call people out like that. It might not be.
I
all
just
those
did.
people. They might not have signed up.
So, first, on the plus side of me being belt fed, last week, Thursday, I don't remember when it was. I think it was Thursday. We had a fantastic event with Gracie Baja right down the street.
Was it Thursday?
I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday. One of those days.
And it was great. Great event. We did some striking. Everybody had fun, and we got to do some throws and chokes and all the good stuff that we normally get to do. Striking was new to us for this class. So, since we were doing striking, this is not us, okay? This is the fine folks at Gracie. Said, hey, let's do some striking. Let's include gloves for everybody. Charge $50 for the event, and everybody will leave with a set of gloves. Daniel, good morning. So we asked people to sign up, as we always do. Sign up. You don't pay till you get there, but we need a head count so we know how many sets of gloves to buy. So we had 32 people signed up. 37
There were
lovely ladies
There
sign
were
up.
some people that let me know that they weren't going to be able to come, which, you know, things happen sometimes. But just the no-call, no-shows that are really...
We had 14, 16 people show up. I think, well, maybe we had more than that.
Yeah, a couple people showed up late.
Because we did have a couple people show up
It was
late.
a great turnout, but it was not what signed up, and then we had an abundance of extra gloves.
Yes.
Which is
And,
frustrating.
you know, if that was us, I'd be frustrated about it because we spent the money on the gloves and now we have all these left over. But it's not us. So I feel extra terrible about it. If you flip and sign up for something, show up. Or at least, especially when we send out an email and say, listen, here's the deal. If you can't make it, we understand. Let us know. We could tell other people that, yeah, we have room. You can come in. But when you just, I'm not going to show up because I didn't pay for it, that's frustrating. Then, skip a few days. I really wanted to do a live on whatever the following day was after that.
Sunday?
But we didn't. No, after the Gracie thing.
Oh,
To
yeah.
bring out the knife hand.
Knife hands.
Then Saturday, we had an awesome event, 2A day. Awesome deals going on all day. We had some awesome speakers here. We asked people to sign up so that we, A, knew how to set up the classrooms, B, how much food to buy, because we were buying food for everybody that was coming to listen to KD and Alex Shea. Alex, I love Alex. Talk, and we had 62 people sign up. Like, sweet. We set the classroom up. Katie got all the food, all this stuff. We had 15 people show up for it. 15 out of 60 something. Don't be a
big duty head.
Don't be an asshole. Okay?
I know we're laughing, but it is
super frustrating.
And it's a huge waste of money, and that money can't go towards other events like this in the future, you know. And I have a strong belief that those gloves cost about what the cost of the class was,
yeah.
And so the training was essentially being done for free out of the goodness of their hearts, and that sucks. And Katie and Alex, I don't know what their thing is, but we don't pay them to come out. They come and do this so they can
their time is not cheap.
Educate us, and it's just be respectful.
And then we start telling people, sorry, the event sold out. Sorry, the event sold out. Sorry, the event really sold out. And then
they don't show.
Now, we've got another one coming up. Is it this week or next week?
No, it's next week on the 4th, I believe.
Yes.
I don't even know what day it is, so.
The human trafficking event.
Yeah.
And we have 60, I think, people signed up for it. You better freaking be there.
It's sold out, and so that means more people can't sign up for it.
Yeah.
And we have a wait list. And the wait list is fairly small right now because people have been letting us know that they're not coming, so we're reaching out to people on the wait list. So if that's the case, if you can't come, let us know, please, so we can let people off of the wait list and we can keep getting more signups because, again, we want to be able to get the people here that want to be here. So
yeah, and when we tell this again, the speaker, when they come out expecting 5 people and there's 105 people, okay, that's kind of crazy too. But if they come out expecting 60 people and there's 10 people in the seats, you got this big classroom open up, all these chairs and stuff, and you have 10 people show up, 15 people show up, that's disgusting.
yeah,
Don't do that.
don't do it.
Don't be a jerk.
Jerk face. Good morning, Martin. We missed that one. Just wanted to. I was keeping it in my brain.
Good job. Dan says, I was surprised at the low turnout compared to last year. Yeah. So we had this with GOA a while ago, a year and a half ago or so. They came out to do some advocacy training to, how to be a better supporter and advocate for the Second Amendment and how to do it correctly and how to contact representatives and so forth. And we, again, had like 30-something people signed up, and I think there were 2 or 3 people show up.
Yeah, we had some employees in there, but that was,
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 other people, 3 other people that showed up for that. And again, you plan the whole day around how many people you're expecting to be there. And it's just frustrating and irritating.
Yeah.
So don't do that. If you sign up for something, freaking show up. Or at least have the common decency to think about it and contact us, a couple of days ahead of time. Hey, I forgot, or my kid's team is going to state, and so now we're going to be gone, or I'm not going to be available, whatever. We understand that stuff happens. But please, let's
I'm sure IDPA deals with this too on Two Gun, I'm sure. I can't imagine they don't.
Yeah.
So we have Lady Sentinel competition coming up tomorrow, and it's full, 20 people, 20 ladies, members only, Lady Sentinel, and then we have like a 10-person wait list. So I've had a couple people reach out and say they can't make it, so I've been reaching out to those on the wait list. But if you're signed up for that, it is a very high demand situation. So please, please, please show up. And if not, please let me know so I can let the people on the wait list know so they can come and do the thing.
Yes.
So exciting.
All right.
Anyway, okay.
That's my belt fedness. It's just people being people and not respecting others. Because that's really what it comes down to, is you just don't respect the people that you are standing up, and that's frustrating.
Frank was disappointed at how many were there too.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. Thank you, Frank, for coming out.
Yeah.
All right. So, what we talking about today?
We talking about what?
Can I say congratulations? Are you going to be mad at me if I do that? Yes?
No.
So, Miss Elizabeth, this morning, we rolled together at Jiu-Jitsu at Gracie Baja, and she got promoted to Blue Belt, which is super cool. And it's awesome to see that you get out there enough and you can train hard enough and earn that next belt. And it sounds like if you're not in that world, it's like, okay, so what? It's just a different belt. It's way more than that. It's super awesome, and it was cool to see. And congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm glad I got to be there whenever Professor promoted you today.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it's
Pretty
awesome.
cool stuff.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, now what are we
Anyway.
talking about today?
So, we were in CCW class on Saturday. We play the video with Indiana Jones, and thank you, Gordon. And people have a really hard time just looking at this small part of the movie, where the guy with the big blade is chasing him around the little town. And
Called a sword.
okay, so what's a machete? It's not that, right?
No.
Okay, so I always want to call it a machete. Anyway,
Machete's
it's a sword.
a short sword.
It's a sword.
Sword?
A sword. Anyway, so he's chasing him around. Truthfully, I can't even remember the whole movie, so I don't remember the before and after and all that stuff. Thank you, Martin. So there was a lot of movie buffs in class, and so we play this snippet, and we then ask afterwards, like, was it justified or was it not? And it's really hard for people to just look at that point in time, and I get it, but
When you know the bigger context. you're
you
saying.
do, yeah, because then it they were starting to say things that I didn't even know because I haven't seen the movie in so long. I don't remember.
I just watched it again yesterday.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about.
And it's so funny when it's been on like TBS or something, somewhat regularly, and so it'll be something that's kind of on in the background. And when it gets to that point, because I've seen that small section 1,000 times,
Yeah.
right? It's so funny to hear it while I'm like making lunch, right?
Yeah.
I hear this,
Just like that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, someone said that, they were going indy Indy because Indy was jumping all around the town, acting like a threat, to everybody. I don't remember the movie.
No.
So, okay, so that was the first time I heard that, so I wasn't sure if that
They
was.
were going after the chick that was with him. They were trying to capture the two of them,
Okay.
and
So they were trying to capture him. He
Yeah.
wasn't gallivanting around acting like a weirdo with a whip and a gun.
no,
Okay, that's the vibe that I got from someone saying that. Anyway, so it always messes with people though because it's a movie, but so much of our lives the baseline that we have for everyday life comes from movies and TV because it's your exposure to violence. It's hopefully your only exposure to violence, and as much
in
as
a lot of cases, yes,
yeah,
for a lot of people.
and if that's
I don't know that I'd say hopefully.
Yeah, you're right. Because if you train with violence and you
Yeah.
understand it, like fundamentally, realistically, then you're right. I meant as in like, hopefully you're not actually
Going
experiencing
out and getting
real
gunfights or sword fights or anything
violence.
all the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So, and as much as you want to say it's just a movie and that would never happen and blah blah blah. I mean, first off, things in movies do happen sometimes, but it's not in the same way that you would expect them to be. How often have you seen the fog on the ground? I never understood the fog. Like, why?
It's great.
Why? Hold on, let me read this comment real quick. I received the GOA handout on contacting legislators on 5-inch state reciprocity and veterans' rights. Maybe you could scan these pages and post on Facebook so those who didn't attend know about it and write a letter.
See, yes and no. I have a hard time with.
I get what you're saying. Like the
Yeah.
education, you don't want to give it to the people that decide not to show up. But I think that the education
this-
would benefit.
Yeah, this is a little bit different thing. Like people say, well, I can't show up when Phil gives an awesome speech. I can't be there, and I want you to videotape it so I can learn all the things that he talked about.
Yeah.
No, show up.
But do you think that the people that didn't have the integrity to show up are going to take the effort to actually write the representatives?
No, because they're jerk faces.
Anyway, okay,
back on topic.
So, truthfully, you have to think about violence in movies, and does one bullet make them fall to the ground? Because that's what happens in the movie.
Every movie, it's one shot. They get blown through a brick wall and off a 12-story building, and that's
probably
right. That's entertainment. And how often, like, if you come across a movie that's based on a true story, right? It's a real thing that happened, and let's say it's in aviation, and you're a pilot, and you watch this thing, and you're like, that don't work that way, right? Even though this is based on a factual thing, they twist and turn stuff to make it more appealing.
Entertainment, yeah.
I see that all the time.
All the time.
Scuba diving and skydiving and stuff like that. Shooting, obviously, it's insane.
Yeah.
The creative license that they take with this stuff, that especially if this is based on a true story. Okay, so a good guy shot a bad guy. That's the base of the story. And then everything else after that is not so much.
Absolutely. So not only is the violence aspect and how that happens and the all that, but the person in defense using the tool or whatever, the amount of adrenaline and chaos that happens in a situation like that is nothing like what you see in the movie. People can't just operate like John Wick.
Yes.
They might be fantastic at competitions and everything, but to actual real violence, I'm not saying that doesn't put you ahead of the curve tremendously. And that's what you want. You want to have that goal of being able to operate through environments like that without falling to pieces. And that's only going to come from training. What's that line? Instead of you fall to your highest level of training or something. Instead of rising to the occasion, you fall to your highest level of training. Not even just like first exposure. Like you have to actually have committed that to the subconscious in order to actually apply them in the moment. I've been able to actually
there's just this weird truck bopping around in our parking lot, and I'm just trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Whenever I went to that competition at Fall Fest, and I cleared the malfunctions, and I didn't even remember doing it. That felt really good. That I didn't have to think about it in the moment, and it just happened. And so that it gives you a lot of confidence like that. And jiu-jitsu's like that too, like you find yourself in.
Oh yeah, you have those aha moments, right? Like you struggle, and all of a sudden one day something just happens. You're like,
whoa!
I just freaking landed that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about moving my hips this way, move my ankle that way, move my left arm over here. It just happened, and that's always a great. Same with drawing and building your grip. All of a sudden you realize like, hey, I'm not thinking about stabbing at my gun and bouncing out of my holster and how to place. It just happens. But it's because you've been purposeful with what you've been doing.
So this book that I'm reading now by Brian Enos, something about, I don't remember what it's called, but it's about shooting, not like violence or self-defense or anything. It's actually about training shooters. And I'm only like 1 or 2 chapters in so far, but his big picture that it's given me is, be one with the gun and try not to think about all the little techniques and just get the gun out and do the thing. And it's messing with me a little bit because it's, I want to dive into those techniques. Now, he doesn't say that you shouldn't have technique. So I don't want to.
Yeah, and you're very early in the book, and you don't know how everything's going to get tied together and all that stuff. But yeah, we see people all the time just grab the gun and push it out, and it's garbage.
Yes, right? But I also see it work. The people that don't overthink the shot, a lot of times we see this with like athletes and people who are just good in their physical space. They just put the gun out there and take the shots, and they're not really specific on any one technique. They're just doing the thing, and they're just shooting a gun. They push the gun out in front of them, they pull the trigger, and they're not like thinking about it, thinking about the shot, thinking about what's going to appear on the target and all this other stuff. So they're kind of out of their head in that thinking process. And we know that's what gets in the way, unequivocally.
Sure.
So it's challenging me. It is a lot. So I'll keep you all informed. But
so what else what are some other common movie fallacies or myths or misrepresentations?
how people hold guns.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite.
Well, I'd say straight away the most prevalent is
The teacup.
no. Just the most common misrepresentation is capacity.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean you see revolvers that shoot
Like
150 rounds.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Belt-fed revolvers.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I'm kind of like
No.
I'm kind of
Won't
like
work.
it.
No point, your fingers get tired.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing is that you can just keep shooting, and I think the other one is just how easy it is,
Yeah.
right? Because every time somebody points a gun, the good guy gets to point the gun at the bad guy, and he always hits him. The bad guy is always missing the good
yeah,
guy.
For sure.
And so it's obviously super easy if you're a good guy to just grab a gun, point, and hit what you're aiming at, and stopping the threat.
Have you seen any movies where they clear malfunctions? I mean, because surely in all the trials and tribulations they go through, with all the theatrics, a malfunction would happen in there somewhere. I can't remember if that happened in John Wick or not.
Yeah, I was going to say,
imagine it
if
would
any,
have.
I would see it happening there, with a just a reload or something. But I don't specifically remember. Maybe in some sort of military movie, you'll see a malfunction, somebody trying to clear it, not necessarily clearing it right, but just racking on a gun or.
Well, that's
something.
pretty realistic.
Yeah,
So, truthfully,
it is.
That's pretty realistic. You just see those in body cam videos, and they got a malfunction. They just keep racking the crap out of it,
Yeah.
or banging it on something, or whatever comes to mind. And that'll happen to anybody. It doesn't unless you practice a
Yeah.
lot. I think after the fact too, like I'm probably, like the crime scene stuff is.
Yeah.
And now I'm not as well educated on that stuff, so I couldn't really speak with a ton of certainty there. But I know without a doubt there's got to be wrong things in there.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
Without a doubt.
Well, just the casualness of it most of the time, I think, is going to be a huge aspect of the aftermath.
There was a video. It was one of the seminars that I watched from Active Self-Protection from one of their guys. I think his last name's Ross, and he was talking about what it's like to be like after an encounter. Now, what he experienced was he actually some random person ran in front of his car at the last second. I think he was actually law enforcement at the time, and he hit them, and the guy ended up passing away. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that stuff. But anyway, he goes into like what happens when the cops come in and they start investigating the scene and all this other stuff. And he said, you have to sit with yourself for hours and hours. And that was, as somebody who overthinks things and likes to talk through things with other people, and that scared the daylights out of me. Like to have an after use of force incident, even if it was completely justified, which it would be, to have to sit with myself and think about all that, because don't tell your spouse, if nobody else was there to see it, just keep your mouth shut until you have the ability to calm down and talk through things. And that means you're going to be sitting there in the back of a car for hours, in the interrogation room for hours, wherever you're at, you're going to be there for a long time by yourself. And you have to be very careful about, all the things that are just going on here. I don't want to sit with myself in my head. Come on in, Mom.
I saw all sorts of, well, I don't know if all sorts, saw several things pop up, one of which looked like a question, but I
Okay.
couldn't.
Well, you comment on that, and then
I don't know what it was. Oh,
No, it's
on
just a bunch of
what
people watching.
You said no. There was somebody who had a pretty long. Go down. Go the other way.
How silly do our faces look?
I know. What does
Mom
that say?
said, "Show us some ninja moves."
Oh, okay. That's what I saw.
That's it. So, and after use of force.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody's reaction is going to be different. You're going to see some people that, maybe in the law enforcement space that have more exposure because of maybe prior military stuff or whatever, or just their overall exposure, even if it's not them in the middle of the violence, just their exposure to the aftermath is different. But we just watched one. I don't remember if this is a video you sent me. Or actually, I know it wasn't because we had talked to you about it on Saturday. Ben and I did about the law enforcement shooting at the hotel. Did you watch that video on active self-protection? I think it was active self-protection. Anyway,
more details. I watched a lot of videos.
This guy is somebody definitely on drugs, is just destroying a hotel lobby, and cops show up and they end up in a physical altercation, and the suspect ends up getting a hold of the cop's baton and is beating him with it.
Oh, I did
and
not
he
see
shoots
this.
her. And as soon as he shoots her, you could tell he's like remorseful about what just happened, and he's screaming, "Why did you make me do that? Why did you make me do that?" And you can see when other cops show up, he's all bloodied and stuff from getting beat with his own freaking baton. But that was he wasn't thinking about those words. That was just flying out of his face after that happened. He did not want to do what he did. And from what I saw of the video, it was 100% justified.
Yeah, I mean, and taking a life should not be some
Casual,
willy-nilly,
absolutely.
And for someone to say things like that, or say "I'm sorry," or "Why did you make me do that?" or whatever comes out of your face is a. I like that you said that. It's going to be a natural response. Like, you grew up saying "I'm sorry." Even you're play fighting with somebody and you accidentally kneed them in the forehead. I'm sorry. You were fighting, but it was just, you're sorry.
Yeah.
And guess what? That's going to come out. Guess where that's going to come out again?
Oh, yeah.
In court.
Oh, yeah.
And it sucks because you're being a human and remorseful about those things. It doesn't change the fact that it was justified necessarily. But that's tough. It's tough.
I think big picture, and I think people understand this, but to actually put it into practice of not taking movies as your...
I have another thing so there's also being naive because of telling yourself that it's just a movie. Yeah. That's been something in my life that I've had to overcome, was, growing up watching movies and, bad things happening, and, whether it's violence or I'm sad because somebody died or whatever, there's a monster. It's just a movie. It's never real. It's just a movie. It's just in the movies. Well, that is true in that moment, but that also can start to build this naive mindset of there's not bad people out in the real world.
Yeah, this is just make-believe.
Yes. And I think we all know fundamentally that there are bad people out there, but we always tell ourselves that's never going to happen to us, or, how prevalent could they be? Well, you will never know when you're standing next to a freaking psychopath. You just won't. And it's not to say that they're going to, take you into their basement that day or anything or ever again. But my point is you don't realize how close you could be to people like this. And do you look like a victim? Do you look like somebody that would entice somebody that wants to do you harm? So don't just drop your guard and be naive and think that nothing like this could ever happen to you, because we see it all the time in our classrooms. People tell stories and, I live in Baldwin and guess what happened to me last week? And I mean, we work in a shooting range where people come to us to learn about self-defense, and unfortunately many of them are on the back foot of coming after an emotional, because of an emotional response, because something happened, and so we hear a lot of stories, but that's
because they happen.
That happens.
Yeah. And we hear I don't need to carry a gun. I live in Baldwin. I don't need to. So
bad shit happens everywhere.
Everywhere. It might be more prevalent in some. Well, it is more prevalent in some areas than it is others. But bad things can happen anytime, anywhere, and you need to be prepared for that. And it might not just be the bad thing of the bad guy attacking you or somebody in your family. It might be a medical emergency. It might be, a car accident. What are you prepared to handle?
Yeah.
And that's what it really comes down to. Is preparing yourself to handle as much as you can. We're not saying be paranoid and be worried about every little thing, but you should think about, if this happens here, what do I do? If this happens here, what do I tell my kids to do?
Have you thought about when you're walking up to your front door and someone's dog is on the loose and this dog could hurt you? What if you get home and there's a freaking bear in your front yard? Because we have bears in Ballin now. So, I mean, my point, to your point, it's like be prepared for everything. But that doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy 80 guns or buy meal prep or buy cages for your windows. Like, take it in stride. Yes. And your best avenue of being good at this is working on this guy right here between your ears. You have it everywhere you go, hopefully. You don't have to go to the gym to work on it or anything. Like, you can work on it at every moment that you ever could possibly want to. It's right there. You just got to use it. You have to mentally prepare for different things. Have you prepared for if there's a fire in your house? Have you prepared for a car accident?
Miss Peggy, good morning.
Have you prepared for tornadoes? There's all kinds of emergency preparedness, and it's not just using your gun. Vinny used one of the lines, because when I talk about medical in class, it's like, well, we're talking about guns, of course. So then when we get to medical, they're like, well, they're directly relating the medical to the guns. And it's like, I'm not saying that you should carry medical because you carry a gun. I'm saying you should carry medical because you want to be your own first responder. You want to take your own safety into your own hands and to be responsible for that. And Vinny uses, like, what's the most dangerous thing you did today or will do today? Everybody's like, well, I shot my gun. Yeah. No, it's drive there. Yeah. it's statistically, it is the most dangerous thing you'll do pretty much all the time. And I think we even have somebody, I forget who it is, but has actually used their medical kit, their tourniquets, to save somebody after a car accident. So
we would use the same line when I was coaching skydiving too. You think that jumping out of the airplane is the scary part or the dangerous part. It might be the scary part because it's new to you, but it's not the dangerous part. The dangerous part was driving to the drop zone and leaving the drop zone, especially leaving the drop zone because you've had such an adrenaline rush.
Oh yeah,
man, you come down off of that high and you want to just chill out.
Ryan can relate to this, I'm sure. Well, first off, he says, "What movie are we talking about?" We're talking about movies in general.
In general, yeah.
We did talk about Indiana Jones, and John Wick, of course. But remember when Fast and Furious came out? And you'd go to the movie theater, everybody driving their super cool cars and everything. You'd go to the movie theater, you watch Fast and Furious, and then you'd turn around and leave, and everybody was maniacs.
Ass everywhere, yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because they can do it in movies. I want to do it too.
Paul says, I curve my shots all the time. They curve low left. Yep. Good morning, Peggy. So, yeah, movies, somebody had to think it up. So that means somebody's capable of doing those violent acts. So I'm not saying that they're not worthwhile for visualization, somewhat. But
I think, a great resource for seeing what real violence looks like is active self-protection. It is a fantastic channel on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to them, do it. You see what real stuff looks like at real speeds, and sometimes it's things are happening really, really fast, and sometimes it seems like it's building up forever, and you can see it coming. Like, why don't you see that this person's about to just rip your face off?
Yeah. It's like, turn around, he's behind you.
It's a great channel for that. And I think that John Correa and his partners on that channel do a great job of breaking stuff down. Do I think they nail everything 100% of the time? No. Some of it's opinion based and all that stuff, but coming from an opinion of somebody who watches this stuff all the time and breaks it down all the time, it's valuable.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great channel for people to. It's disturbing, especially if you've not had any exposure to it at all. You see some disturbing stuff without a doubt, but it is valuable information for you to see and learn from.
There was a video I watched on there that actually changed my mind on carrying off body. Because for a while I was carrying in my purse, and because it's comfortable, it's easy, whatever. And I was watching this video, and this person was standing on one side of actually bulletproof glass. It was at a pharmacy, and the bulletproof glass didn't go all the way up to the ceiling. And next thing you know, somebody comes up to the window, tries to get whatever, and then they just scale that thing, and they come right over the top and just stab the crap out of them until they're dead. And I'm just like, whew. All right, I'm keeping my gun on me now. It's insane. Because you would think okay, I'm behind bulletproof glass.
I have plenty of time.
Am bulletproof, literally.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He has a knife, and he apparently can go really fast.
And he can climb stuff. Yeah.
Active self-protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, active self-protection. So yeah, tens of thousands of videos he's gone through. So he
releases something every day.
Yeah.
Every day he puts out a new video. It's a great channel to watch.
And you see what real violence looks like, not movie stuff.
Yeah.
So. And it's actually helpful to watch what the cops go through too, because we kind of
on both the good and the bad side.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's something else I think that they do. They're very fair at breaking stuff down. Just because it's a cop that's involved doesn't mean they're going to give them all A pluses.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Just because it's a civilian that's involved, it doesn't mean they're going to get all A pluses.
Yep.
They're very fair in what they critique and what they would say is a good use of force and not a good use of force, or a good force option, just obviously depending on the situation.
Yeah. Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
For sure. You know what?
Nope, I don't know. I never met him.
Since I've been, since I shoot guns, I study body language, I study violence, and I don't watch a lot of movies. When I do watch movies, I am my heart is racing. It's incredible. I am, it's so much more sensationalized because, actors know they know how to read, they know how to do certain body language cues to give the viewer a certain understanding of what's about to happen. But it's much more dramatized, so that way you see it and you see the irony and all the things coming. And when it's that drastic, it's intense.
Have you seen the new Top Gun Maverick?
I think I started and I think I fell asleep. I fall asleep. What? I could fall asleep during John Wick.
I think it's a great movie, and we were watching it the other day. Again, it was just on TBS or something, kind of on in the background, and it was in this very intense portion of the movie, and I almost texted you and be like, "Hey, you got to turn this on because I want to hear what your reaction is the next day." And I think you'd love the movie, but you would also hate it because you'd be going.
So two things. We were watching Mummy Returns last night, and then I'll talk about that in a second. But what's the movie where I think it was called Rage or something, or Raged, or it was about this guy that road rages on this lady that cuts him off or something.
Oh, that's a fucking.
Oh, good job.
That's a great movie.
It was terrifying. Yeah. I was scared shitless. The guy that plays in Walking Dead, with the club thing.
It is something like that, like Rage or something.
Oh man, it had me going. It was terrifying,
and
it was so realistic, as in real life type shit. Yeah, we're just all cussing out.
I know.
Screw it.
That's what and that kind of movie I think is a great one to help people understand. We talked about it in CCW on Saturday. Somebody cut you off and you want to honk your horn at them because they're being a jerk. Well, you don't know what that person's on the edge of. Right. Maybe it was totally innocent and they just didn't see, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, yeah." But maybe they're waiting for somebody to honk the horn just so they can freaking blow up. And that's what happened in this movie. Gosh dang, what the hell is the name?
I'm pretty sure it was Raged or Rage, something like that. But it was good. Yep, you have the power. So we were watching Mummy Returns last night, which has Tom Cruise in it. That's what made me think about it. You talk about Top Gun, and I'm not a Tom Cruise person, but anyway, there's a scene where they're on the plane.
It's Unhinged, right?
Unhinged. Okay, that's it.
It's got Russell Crowe.
Oh, I thought it was the other guy from Walking Dead. Anyway, Well, that's funny. The Mummy Returns has Russell Crowe in it too. Anyway, so they're on a plane and this guy's buddy, Tom Cruise's buddy, gets taken over by the mummy, and so he starts getting up and walking towards him, and he just like randomly stabs his sergeant or whoever, and then he starts walking towards Tom Cruise, and that's his friend, so he doesn't want to shoot him, and it had me quite terrified. It was just like, oh my god, you're gonna shoot him, and then of course he shoots him, and he's like a zombie at this point, so it was all kinds of tense. Hi, Dad.
Yo.
So, anything else?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's about it for me.
That's about all
I'm
I've
sure-
got to say about that.
I'm sure there's all sorts of things we could go into in the movie. I mean,
Go ahead, just say
I
it.
don't, it's just when I will very often in like, you know, whatever, good cop movie, you know, guy draws his gun in a very first scene of the movie, he draws his gun and he like, breathe. Come on. Now I freaking hate this movie.
I know.
Like
it hurts.
It really does. And you know, there's people that get paid lots of money to like teach them the right way and be like, hey, you should do it this way, and they still screw it up really bad a lot.
I had a lady come into one of my classes one time, basic handgun class, and she's like, I'm not going to go down and shoot. I'm just here to learn about guns and proper technique and stuff like that because I'm an author and I want to write about it. And I'm like, I appreciate that. So she ended up shooting. She loved it. She was like she had the most fun out of everybody too. It cracked me up.
But that's awesome. Like, hey, I want to know this thing, so I'm going to research it.
Yep, for sure.
That makes sense.
I like it.
All right. Is that it? I think that's it. If you guys have common movie myths that maybe we didn't talk about, or that very prevalent, that you know, maybe it's so prevalent we're not even really thinking about it.
I know.
Throw it in the comments, and I'd love to see. Or if you have some terrible gun movie scenes and you want to find a clip for it on YouTube and post it in the comments, we should do that. Just go find
the
like
worst,
especially some like B-rated 80s movie scenes, and find a clip of it and put it.
Please do that. Gosh, that would be so much fun.
It would be
later.
hysterical to watch. Man, I wonder if there's even there probably is a YouTube video of the worst.
Oh, no doubt.
Gun.
No doubt.
Handling mistakes on movies or something. I don't know, but funny ones. All right. If you sign up for something, get out of the way.
Oh, sorry.
If you sign up for something, show up. Okay, now you can come back in.
I'm here.
We do have next week. I don't even remember. I think it's next week, Wednesday.
It's the 4th. Wait for it to come up on one of our TVs.
Is that next week?
You have a phone in your pocket.
You're right. Next week. Gosh, February's almost over.
I know.
That's freaking crazy.
My little guy's about to turn 6.
So, sexual exploitation of children, free clinic. We have 60 people signed up for it. If you're on the freaking list and you can't freaking make it, freaking email us. Freaking. Training at therangeSTL.com. And
look at that name.
And say, I can't make it.
That's a crazy name with all kinds of crazy characters. It's funny to watch a movie with a gunfight and the gun never runs out of bullets.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's what I think is probably the number one flub in movies, is they just endless ammo. It's fantastic. And you'll even see them like maybe occasionally like take a magazine out and look at it, put it back in a gun, and just keep on shooting.
Or they always rack it before they. I think that's why everybody.
Yes, that is a good one.
They just
all the time.
Rack it.
They draw their gun. Okay, we're getting ready. The bad guy just drew his gun on me, so I'm going to draw my gun and I'm going to rack it.
Get out of here.
Ah! Hurts my brain. Bring out my girl voice. So, if you gotta have the shot.
The
And
shot-
it's always very dramatic. With the
Oh, yeah.
If you signed up for our upcoming free clinic, show up. Or if you can't make it, let us know. Thank you.
Soon, please.
Yes, sooner rather than later. All right, that's it for us. You guys want to come hang out with us, even though it's going to be a super gorgeous day outside. It's going to be sloppy and nasty and all that stuff because the ground's all thawed out and snow's melting. So you're much better off just to come inside. Hey, thinking about your dog?
Yep.
Yeah. They're having fun right now in the mud.
No. Bad.
Come hang out with us. 14803 Manchester Road in beautiful Baldwin, Missouri. 10 to 8 Monday through Friday. Ah, stop it! 10 to 8 Monday through Friday, Saturday 9 to 6, Sunday 10 to 6. You guys stay safe, be nice to one another, and we will catch you soon. Later.